Hello, YouTubers, and welcome back to another episode of The Grandstand here on the Ohio Patriot Education Network YouTube channel. I am, as always, your host, AR, the Ohio Patriot. And for today's episode, we're going to talk about how Democrats in the state of Ohio helped get a RINO elected into our speakership. So, yeah, it's a bunch of fuckery, dude. I talked about it a lot yesterday, and I found out about it on the Grandstand then, how Jason Stevens basically cut a deal with the devil herself, being Allison Russo, a literal fucking crossroads demon, to become Speaker of the House at this point. And it ain't cool, man. It ain't cool at all. The fact that we have currently a mishmash of maps that we still have to get we still have to do new districts and stuff like that for our maps going forward here. I fear two things right now happening in the state of Ohio. Number one, obviously, this map right here that I'm pulling up, which was the one that we used for the 2022 midterms, which, like I've said multiple times in these grandstands, when you actually look at the map itself here, and you got Franklin County, Hamilton County, and Cuyahoga County basically all gerrymandered totally blue for the Democrat Party, and that's where the majority of their seats come from. And then, of course, you got stuff like up here in Lucas County has a couple, and then you got other places like around the state of Ohio, really is what it is. Montgomery County, which I believe is where Dayton's at, has a few there as well. That's obviously another one of their strongholds is what it is. The entire point is, though, is they're going to try to flip Ohio blue with this bullshit. And I believe truthfully, especially with what Allison Russo said in the comments to ABC News the other day, they're going to try to fuck with our gun rights 100%. And I'm telling you right now, dude, I have not been this frightened for my personal Second Amendment rights in this state since I was federally swatted 4 years ago. That's how fucking frightened I am right now. There's been over 3.5 years now, going on 4 this coming August, since I was federally swatted. And it is seriously, I have not been this scared to lose my Second Amendment rights to scumbag fucking criminal politicians since that happened. I am like seriously like anxiety beyond belief, honestly, for the last 6 hours or so right now, dude. Like the more and more I look into this stuff, the more frightening it becomes, honestly. And it's not right. It's not right at all, dude. And the fact that Jason Stevens claims to be pro 2A, it's like, dude, I don't give a fuck if somebody claims to be pro 2A or not, man. When they are running for re-election, they will say and do whatever the fuck they have to get reelected is what it is, man. And the fact that Stevens was a yes vote on constitutional carry, the fact that he was supposedly a yes vote on stand your ground back in the day when he first got appointed into the actual position he was in right there as a state representative, it doesn't matter. When you're up for re-election, dude, you'll say anything you have to get elected is what it is. I could tell you I'm going to give you every fucking person in Ohio a gold bar if I became governor. That ain't gonna fucking happen, dude. It's just not. Like, that's the entire point. I mean, I'd love that to be the case, but I'm not gonna sit there and buy votes is what it is, dude. Because again, first of all, vote buying is illegal in this country. At least it should be. But of course, Democrats do it all the fucking time. Nobody ever talks about that though. But yeah, I fear for this state to be them trying to flip it blue, number one, and obviously, going to talk about specifically this ABC News article we brought up yesterday, stuff like that, one of the grandstands, which was. You had Russo specifically saying, quote, they needed our votes, and we took the opportunity to make sure that we were going to be working with the speaker who we felt at the end of the day would work with us on the issues we could agree on, said Democrat Minority Leader Allison Russo. Russo said her discussions with the Republican, meaning Jason Stevens, were productive and allowed her caucus to vote, all 32 of them, for Stevens. She mentioned they spoke about getting fair district maps, but most of the conversation was on priority bills like education issues, which, by the way, they have basically officially said they're going to fuck over school choice right now already, dude, which is totally unconstitutional, by the way. Allison Russo, you have no fucking right to do that to my niece, to my nephew, to any fucking child in the state of Ohio, you fucking cunt. Stop trying to fuck with our kids' right to school choice at this point in time in history, bitch. We don't want our kids listening to your fucking commie-ass fucking cunt piece of shit Antifa members who come out of the fucking colleges even more fucked in the head than they were when they went in, by the way. And then come out as so-called teachers when in reality they're all a bunch of fucking doctors at this point, dude. It's a bunch of bullshit entirely, dude. But anyway, continuing on, though. Going back to this article, though. Said, quote, this is another quote from Russo. It said, the importance of our public schools and for them to be well-funded and well-resourced. Fuck that. No, dude. You should be, this is the whole point. You should be able to have the ability to choose as a parent or as a guardian where you want your children to go to school, whether it be homeschool, whether it be a private school, whatever the case be. You should have the right. You should have a fucking voucher for that school choice, not have public education be like, oh, well, this kid's worth $35,000 a year from the federal government, so we got to keep him in this fucking public education now. And fucking communists indoctrinate them for the next 20 years of their fucking life is what it is. Fuck that, dude. Fuck that shit entirely, man. Anyway, said the deal also may also stop the, quote, backpack bill, which will allow education funding to be awarded per child rather than to school districts for distribution, which Russo seems to confirm. She also is in favor of pro-union type bills and discussed that with Stevens, which Marin had been outspoken against. Yeah, because we don't want a bunch of fucking communist unions running our goddamn state is what it is, dude. And these are the same motherfuckers, by the way, that are going to try to push a bunch of shit as ballot measures in the future, dude. Y'all remember BM 114 from Oregon? That's the kind of bullshit they're going to try to push here in Ohio, dude, in the next 6 months or so. That's fucking ballot measures. Probably for the May election cycle, would be my guess, honestly, at this point in history. And that's what I'm saying. I am scared to death right now that that's going to fucking go anywhere, dude. Because there's enough psychotic Democrats in this state, and there's enough dumb motherfucking RINOs here as well, dude. A bunch of fucking fut-ass pieces of shit that support the NRA and stuff like that they would fuck over our gun rights in half a second, dude, is what it is. And fuck that shit. This is why I fight for the Second Amendment so fucking hard, dude, because I'm so sick and tired of this shit. Anyway. Continuing back on, says, when asked what kind of deal was bartered, Stevens skirted the question. Yeah, because he knows he fucking sold us out is what it is, dude. He knows he's a fucking slippery son of a bitch is what it is, dude. Said, quote, I think this particular vote speaks for itself. I think it's an issue of what do we want, what brings us together, he told reporters, and when we have common ground as a group of Ohioans, we can do a lot of good things. The entire point is, Jason Stevens, you're not there to fucking strike deals with literal fucking criminal Democrats, who all of which should be in prison right now in the state of Ohio for deprivation of color of law, as well as other felony charges like bribery, like Alice Rose committed in 2021 back in May of 2021, where she lured like a big fucking fat envelope full of cash, most likely, from Moms Demand Action members on camera during a House Oversight Committee hearing. And I will continue to say that to this day because it is the fucking truth. And it can be found on the Ohio channel, by the way, back in the archives there. From let's look that shit up right now. And the entire point of it is, when you have her committing crimes on camera, when you have Casey Weinstein, or Weinstein, her fucking, what's that asshole's name? I call him Weinstein because it is fucking pronounced like Harvey Weinstein, or spelled like Harvey Weinstein, I should say. The problem is, you have that dude that committed a hate hoax on himself, illegally used the USPS to do it, man. U.S. Postal Service. And yet still has yet to be investigated for, almost 4 years later now. A little over 3.5 years, actually, at this point. And it goes down the line, dude. Every single one of these Democrats, every single time that they have pushed for an anti-gun piece of legislation in our state General Assembly, dude, they have committed deprivation of law. They have committed a misdemeanor crime at that point. When they have pushed transgender issues, they have committed a misdemeanor crime at that point. When they have pushed for anti-free speech stuff, they have committed another misdemeanor crime at that point. Yet the problem is, no sheriff, no sheriff's deputy, no fucking state law enforcement wants to actually get off their fucking ass and do a job to arrest these motherfuckers or even investigate them for that matter, because they're not committing active felonies for the most part. They just commit a bunch of misdemeanors that are all stacking amongst each other is what it is, dude. And that's the biggest problem right now. And it's time for these people to get off their fucking fat asses and start arresting people at this point. Honestly, first of all, honestly, it's time for the county coroner of Hamilton County to arrest sitting Bloomberg sheriff Charmaine McGuffey, number one, and for them to actually put a new actual sheriff into Hamilton County that is not a fucking Bloomberg shill piece of shit. And secondly, it is time to remove all these Democrats from office at this point, dude. Seriously. You know, I was hoping and praying, like, fingers crossed, dude, that we could have an actual lockstep Republican Party this go around. And you could just have them lockstep every Democrat out in the next couple days here. But that's not going to happen now. You know, you had 22 Republicans, including Stevens himself, for the Stevens vote. 32 Democrats voting for him. The last time that happened was 4 years ago for Larry Householder, by the way. We don't know what happened with Larry Householder, by the way. And for those who don't, I'll tell you the story. Larry Householder was involved in HB6, which was a bribery scandal that should have also taken down Governor Mike DeWine, Lieutenant Governor John Husted, Secretary of State Frank LaRose, as well as at least half the General Assembly that were all involved in that bribery scandal. Democrats and Republicans both at the time, dude. Like people like Bill Seitz, people like Alison Russo specifically, people like Casey Weinstein, people like fucking Amelia Strong Sykes, who is now a sitting congresswoman, by the way. Well, not technically sitting congresswoman because they haven't actually voted on the Speaker of the House yet federally, so she can't even be a sitting congresswoman right now. She's still congresswoman elect is what it is. She fucking cheated, by the way, in 2022 midterms. And if they actually investigated the damn shit and did audits on that one, they would prove that Madison Jesse Otto Gilbert should be a sitting congresswoman right now, dude, not Amelia Sykes' ass. Not to mention Erica Crowley, not to mention Jeannie Boyd, not to mention Stephanie House, for God's sakes, one of the biggest black supremacists in the state of Ohio, who is now a current sitting city councilwoman in Cleveland. So, anyway. But, yeah, going back to what was said here for the ABC Channel 5 article there. It said, numerous Democrat lawmakers told ABC 5, or News 5, that another item in the deal was the elimination of House Joint Resolution 6. The resolution will require a 60% supermajority vote in order for constitutional amendments to succeed, which basically would mean that you would have to have 60% of the Ohio voters, 2/3 or 3/5 of the Ohio voter right now, on ballot measures and stuff like that to actually amend our state constitution, which is how it should be anyway, dude. The reason that Alison Russo doesn't want this, the reason that other Democrats don't want this, is because they know that they want to push for abortion crap. They know they want to push for anti-gun shit as ballot measures in the future. They know that they want to push a bunch of crap to make redistricting into a fucking Democrat state a reality in the coming years. And so they can basically succeed by making a fucking new governor is what it is, dude, essentially as well. So ballot failed 134 General Assembly after massive outrage, which, by the way, the mass outrage that they're talking about is literally about 50 Moms Demand Action members getting on the General Assembly and creating a mini insurrection act, by the way, that they all claim happened on January 6, 2021, yet actually happened in the state of Ohio on December, I believe it was 19th or 20th of 2022 is what it was, dude. So, anyway. Where are we at now? Yeah, here we go. Said, we'll have to look at that. We will have to look at it at different things, Stevens added, noting that the schedule is about to get really busy in the budget prep and he's got a lot of things to do. Stevens is considered a much more moderate option than Derek Marin. Quote, Speaker Stevens led a coalition of moderate lawmakers from across the aisle who will focus on delivering the common sense solutions. By the way, they're talking about gun control on that one. Casey Weinstein is. Common sense solutions for the Ohioans sent us here to deliver, said State Rep Casey Weinstein. Now we can work on investing in our communities, on public education and workforce development. I'd like to point something out, by the way. This is something that, and I would like to, I'm actually going to give credit to Chris Dorr on this one, dude. As much as I do not like Chris Dorr, because he tried to fuck myself and other people over when we were doing grassroots stuff for Second Amendment sanctuary things back in 2019, he and I have actually come to a standing at this point, and I'll tell you what, he and I are now on the same page, and Ohio Patriot Education Network will be working with Ohio Gunners this year to advance to a Preservation Act, to advance better stand your ground, and to advance better constitutional carry. And we will literally, if I can get down to the State House, You will see a picture taken of myself and Chris Dorr. We're doing a handshake deal at that point to help each other out is what it is, dude. Because at the end of the day, we are all in this together, honestly, legitimately. And it's time for 2A organizations in the state of Ohio to start working with each other and stop fucking each other over is what it is, dude. And I'm talking to you people at Buckeye Firearms, by the way, that have tried to fuck us over several times. And you assholes at the NRA have tried to take the ball at the fucking 5-yard line and then take it across the goal. When in reality, you didn't do a touchdown. You literally fucking scumbagged us when it came to constitutional carry and helped fucking put Terry stops and shit in it, dude. Same thing with Buckeye Firearms, by the way. They pulled that shit too as well. And specifically, Casey Weinstein, as Chris Dorr pointed out, is an extreme abortionist, an extreme baby killer for that matter, because I'm going to say it like it is. Weinstein literally wants to kill kids up to the moment of birth and even after birth, after they're fucking born, dude. And yet he calls himself a moderate, dude. There ain't nothing moderate about killing children, you fucking demon piece of shit. And that's what I'm saying. That's one of many reasons why Casey Weinstein should be in prison right now, dude, for child murder at this point. Seriously. And the fact that he's sitting there being like, oh no, we wanted a moderate Republican in there. No, you wanted a little bitch to eat for fucking Democrats to control is what it was, dude. And you got one in that fucking sack of shit, Jason Stevens is what it is, dude. And I'm going to call it like it is right now, dude. And until I see things differently, that's exactly what Jason Stevens is in my opinion right now. He's a fucking RINO sack of shit, wannabe fucking Democrat, just like that fuckboy Matt Dolan is, dude. And Matt Dolan is 100% a fuck knuckle, by the way. Anyway, continuing on, it said, let's see, it said, quote, Ohioans want results and they want us to work together to deliver them, Weinstein said. I'm confident we will be able to do that with Speaker Stevens in office. Fuck that bullshit, dude. Seriously, fuck that bullshit entirely. But yeah, the vote was 54 to 43, which means either 2 people voted present or just didn't vote at all. Which really does beg the question, where the hell were the other 2 for the 99 people? And yeah, as that Aaron Bear guy pointed out about who's the Senator for Christian Virtue, said today something else came up that led votes another way. Said you have a lot of folks who are hurt, who feel betrayed, and it's going to be a real test to say, are you really going to bring people together, or did you just sell everything you stand for in order to get a position of power? Yes, Jason Stevens did exactly that, dude. I'm saying it like it is right now, dude. I don't trust this. I do not trust Jason Stevens as far as I can fucking throw him right now, dude. And that is not very far, honestly. And we all know for a fact that bitch-ass Casey Weinstein, 4 years ago when I first got into this fight, was trying to ban magazines in the state of Ohio over 10 rounds, dude. That's one reason why I hate that son of a bitch to this fucking day, by the way, is because he was trying to restrict my right to keep and bear arms, everybody else's right to keep and bear arms. Which, by the way, the gun in my fucking hand right now holds a 16-round mag capacity. Taurus TX22 rimfire. What I use is my competition pistol. Literally holds a 16-round mag. I got this stuff for my birthday, by the way. Which, by the way, this is actually a Christmas present. This was my actual birthday present, which is the Wingman +5 extension things. It's got the little buffer plate thing for the extensions, and then it's got an actual different what am I saying there? It's my mind is blanking because I'm tired. Different spring for the actual magazine then, because the current one that's in here only does like 16, whereas that one can do a lot higher, down at 21 is what it is. So basically, I'm gonna pop this part of this off and then redo this at some point in the future. I'm not gonna do it on camera, obviously, but like, yeah, it's a good mag, by the way. And that's the thing. The one thing I've realized in my TX22 since I got it a few years back, dude, like that's one of the best guns I've ever had in my entire life, honestly. And it still pisses me off to this day. I can never actually do competitions with it because, unfortunately, the actual rifle I had that I should have been able to do competition shooting with in the state was stolen from me a couple years back now. And they still, over 18 months later, have yet to find it now because it was July 2021 when it was first stolen. So, yeah, it fucking sucks, dude. And it really pisses me off. And that's actually one piece of legislation I would love to see passed in the state of Ohio right now, where if the cops do not find your stolen weapon within like a year or so, you should be able to apply for a reimbursement kind of thing. And then if that weapon's ever found, like, and again, this goes back to like a different thing where it's not like, you know, collector's item or something like that, where it's just like an everyday off the shelf kind of weapon and stuff like that. It would basically be, okay, cool. You have not found my weapon in, you know, 365 days now. I can legally apply for this thing to have the state of Ohio then reimburse me for the cost of the gun. And then if y'all ever find that gun, it just becomes property of the state of Ohio. That's what it'll be. Because at this point, honestly, depending on what's been done with my MMP 1522, man, I really don't want it back at this point. Because honestly, I have no idea what the fucking scumbags who stole it have done to it, man. They could have fucking scratched out the serial numbers on it. They could have done all kinds of shit for that matter, dude. They could have defaced the hell out of it at this point. You know, they could have put fucking 5,000 rounds through it and broke the extractor, broke the fucking firing pin, broke a bunch of shit, and it is what it is. And like, why would I want a broken gun back is what it is, you know? Not to mention the fact that I had exact numbers of how many rounds and what kind of ammo was actually shot through that gun when it came to 22, whereas I have no idea what that is now. You know, it could be, like I said, 3, 5, 7, 10, 15, 20,000 rounds higher than it was before now. And it's a bunch of crap, dude. Also, one thing I thought was pretty cool with Taurus with this order, they put a little Taurus sticker in there. It's pretty cool. So I'm gonna have to pull that off and stick it somewhere or something one of these days. But yeah, I thought that was pretty sweet. So, but yeah, I'm definitely gonna. My plan right now, after I finish up here, I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna take this, and I'm gonna put that together as a 21 rounder at some point now. So, but yeah, we actually had somebody pop in the chat a little bit ago from Louisiana, apparently. And one thing I thought was interesting with Louisiana is they're going to have a new governor this year. It'll be the first time in 8 years that's not a Democrat named John Bel Edwards, because he's termed out, is what it is. And of course, you also have Kentucky, which is going to be having Andy Beshear versus whoever now. And then it would be, I know there's a third one too that I can't remember offhand. It's the 2023 midterm election cycle. Right, I did an article about it the other day. I'm going to try to find it real quick, actually, before I finish this off, because I want to talk about that one as well. My thing is, though, when you look at Andy Beshear, though, like, yeah, the guy's kind of a piece of shit Democrat and stuff like that, dude. But, like, honestly, truthfully, Beshear, the stuff that he's done in Kentucky in the last couple of years when it came to, like, storm damage and various hurricanes and stuff like that, and, you know, twisters and flooding and stuff like that, he's actually done a decent job. Like, I hate to say that, but it's true, man. As far as I know, the guy was supposed to be, like, kind of climate change person or whatever the case be as well. But even he kind of threw out the window when it came to storm stuff in the last year or so. He was like, people even asking that, they're like, oh, well, what do you think about this being like climate change related? He's just like, that's not why we're here, people. There's a bunch of dead bodies over here. We're going to deal with these, and we're going to actually get people back their loved ones so they can bury them and stuff like that. And I'm just like, you know what? Good on you, Andy. Like, good on you for actually taking the ball on that one and calling out some scumbag reporters and shit like that, dude. Like I said, as much as I don't like the guy, he's done a lot of decent shit there, is what it is, dude. And he has a very good opportunity to become a second-term governor right now, unfortunately. That being said, is he pro 2A? Fuck no, he's not, dude. Is he pro fucking life? I don't think so, even. Or at least maybe not. I don't know about pro. I can't remember if he's like anti-life or not, though. I think he's somewhere in the middle when it comes to abortion. He's like one of these like so-called moderates and stuff like that, which, by the way, in 2023, moderates don't really exist anymore, dude, when it comes to politics. You're either one side or the other. You're either pro-America, pro-Americans and stuff like that, or you're literally looking out for your own best interest and trying to take a bunch of money and put it in your own damn pockets is what it is, dude. And you're willing to sell yourself out to whoever the fuck, or China, or whoever else does that matter, dude. So it's really hard to say at that point, man. But yeah, needless to say, I'm gonna try to find this article real quick now. I know it was in here for the last week or something. 3 governor. Okay, let me look up just governor and see if it comes up. Reese's, maybe? Huh. Did I even... I was trying to think now, did I even click on that the other day? I thought I did. I thought I actually saved it, so I don't know. Let me go check it out real quick now. 3 Governor Reese's 2023. Okay, here it is. Yeah, it's from a couple days ago. So, going to talk about this for a couple minutes. It says 3 gubernatorial races to watch in 2023. That's why I didn't have it up, actually, because it was gubernatorial instead of governor. Whatever. Anyway. It says 3 states in the southern United States will hold gubernatorial races this year, excluding any potential special elections for vacated seats, all of which would serve as previous 2024 presidential election. 3 states, Kentucky, Louisiana, and Mississippi, will hold off-year elections like gubernatorial elections. The last regular gubernatorial election for all 3 states were in 2019, 1 year before previous presidential election. Louisiana Governor John Bel Edwards is term limited, meaning he cannot run for a 3rd term, leaving the door open for a crowded field, which both Mississippi Governor Tate Reeves and Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear, who is a Democrat, are eligible for re-election, obviously Reeves being a Republican. Says Kentucky, Beshear is running for re-election after winning the last gubernatorial election with less than 50% of the vote against former Governor Matt Bevin. The Democrat incumbent will be running in a state that former President Donald Trump won by over 25 points in 2020. Some Republicans seeking to challenge Beshear's incumbent governorship are State Attorney General Daniel Cameron. I believe that's the black guy, if I'm not mistaken, who had to do with Breonna Taylor's case and stuff like that, and was talking about not releasing shit, if I'm not mistaken, on that one. I could be wrong about that one. I'm going to go check on that real quick just to confirm that I'm right on that, though, because I think that is that guy. Yes, that is the guy I'm thinking of. Okay, that's what I thought. Yep. 1 day ago, Daniel Cameron formally files for Kentucky governor candidacy. Interesting. Okay, so that's a given right now. He's going to be in that race. See, State Agricultural Commissioner Randy Quarles, State Auditor Mark Harmon, and former UN Ambassador Kelly Croft, who served under Trump. The GOP gubernatorial primary will take place on May 16th. Former Democrat congressional candidate Jeff Young is also running for the state's chief office. He'll be running against Beshear then, probably in a Democrat primary is what it'll be then. Kentucky's gubernatorial election will be November 7th. So you got Louisiana, because John Bel Edwards, won his 2nd term as governor in 2019. He cannot run for 3rd term due to term limits outlined in the Louisiana Constitution, opening up the gubernatorial race for many contenders. Louisiana holds a quote-unquote jungle primary, meaning all candidates will compete in the primary on October 14th, regardless of political party affiliation, which I think is absolute bullshit, by the way. For those interested, there is a reason why California, since Arnold Schwarzenegger was governor there, why they have not had another Republican governor is because dumbass Schwarzenegger created jungle primaries in California, where literally every time there's an election cycle, it always comes down to 2 Democrats in almost every single seat in that state right now, dude. So, and it's all because jungle primary and stuff like that. Now, granted, if you had ranked choice voting actual elections, that would be an interesting one, because it would be like, okay, I want these 2 candidates or whatever. If I can't get, let's say Mike Lee or something like that for your, senator or whatever, and it's like, okay, I'll pick Jim Jordan as my 2nd choice or something like that. So it would be, man. And it would be whoever gets the most votes out of all everybody's stuff is who actually gets the nominee is what it would be then. So anyway, so if a candidate receives at least 50% of the vote, that candidate will be declared the winner in that jungle primary. If not, 2 candidates with the most votes will move on to a runoff election November 18th. Says State Attorney General Jeff Laundrie, Republican, is so far the only GOP candidate to announce a run, while other Republicans are expected to join the races. Senator John Kennedy has said he is seriously considering a gubernatorial bid, while others weighing a run include Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungasser, who apparently is a Republican himself, which is interesting because Bell Edwards 100% was a Democrat, I thought. I'm pretty sure anyway. Senator Bill Cassidy, Representative Garrett Greaves, and State Senator Sharon Harriet, as well as Treasurer John Schroeder, according to the Lafayette Daily Advertiser. It said no Democrats have yet officially joined the field, but as the Hill noted, a Democrat candidate would likely face an uphill battle, as the last time the state elected a Democrat governor before Edwards was in 2003. So yeah, needless to say, hopefully it'll be, flipping to Reddit, that'll be the case again. Then we got Mississippi. Said Reeves was eligible for another term as governor after winning the gubernatorial race by nearly 52% in 2019 and appears to be running again, although he has yet to make an official announcement. Additionally, candidates cannot qualify for state offices until January 3rd, which was about a day and a half ago now, and have to file a deadline before February 1st of this year. Still, no Republicans have officially announced plans to challenge the incumbent governor on the August 8th primary. So despite Reeves having a sizable war chest, the Mississippi paper there reported that possible challengers include State House Speaker Philip Gunn, Secretary of State Michael Watson, and former Supreme Court Chief Justice and 2019 gubernatorial candidate Bill Waller Jr. On the other side of the aisle, that same paper also noted that Northern District Public Service Commissioner Brandon Presley, a Democrat, a distant cousin of rock legend Elvis Presley, has been rumored to be planning a possible gubernatorial run in Mississippi. That's kind of interesting, I think, honestly, dude. And I'm not going to lie, though. This is the problem I have right now. If you would seriously vote for somebody in office because they're a distant cousin of dead rock star Elvis, should you even be having voting rights in this country after that, dude? And the answer is fuck no. Let's just point that out right now, dude. Seriously. If that's the only reason you're voting for that guy is because it's like, oh, this guy's a distant cousin of Elvis. So? That does not mean he's going to be good in positions of power, dude. Like, seriously, that's just fucking stupid entirely. But, yeah, needless to say, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see if that guy even files or not there in Mississippi. But, yeah, I think Tate Reeves is going to, well, in general, when you look at any of these things right now, I mean, looking even back here to the 2022 midterms with the wine and stuff like that, dude, you had 3 contenders in the primaries against DeWine, dude, and none of them secured enough is what it was, though. The real problem was, and again, this kind of goes back to what we're seeing currently in the federal speakership and stuff like that, dude, where you have people split the votes and shit. You basically had I'm trying to remember who was in the race now. Jim Renacci, who probably should have been able to actually primary DeWine out. But then you have this jerk off named Joe Blystone who jumped in the race, who claimed to be this fucking conservative fucking cowboy guy, and he was really just an asshole criminal. And by the way, he should still be in prison right now for that matter. Like, the fact that he has yet to be indicted by the FBI is absolute bullshit right now. The guy committed a fuck ton of crimes in the state of Ohio. They're all felonies. But again, that goes back to Ohio's criminal fucking political game right now, is you can basically get away with shit as long as you're running for office is what it is, dude. Like, they don't give a fuck, apparently. Because the feds are too busy, coming after people about like, oh my God, you were preying on your own property and shit like that. Or, oh my God, you were seen at the fucking Capitol on January 6th, even though you totally weren't there is what it was, dude. Like, they're more worried about taking those people down is what it is at this point, which is bullshit entirely, dude. So, anyway, but yeah, you basically have Blystone split the vote count with Renacci so much so that it did not allow Renacci to get enough votes to actually primary DeWine out. And then meanwhile, the guy I voted for, which was ex-state rep Ron Hood and ex-state rep Candace Keller, who would have been his lieutenant governor, who were the best ticket there, by the way, by a long shot, barely got any votes at all is what it was, dude, which sucks ass. And I think the real problem is because they got in too late. They got in like about 3 weeks, 4 weeks before the actual election happened is what it was, dude. Like, it was super fucking late. Like, it was basically like end of March, early August, or early April when they finally got into that race that was happening in May. And it's like, dude, like, y'all are getting there way too late, man. I think if they had done a real run like way earlier than that, they would have definitely had a good chance, honestly. Had Renacci or Blystone not been in that race at all, I think Ron Hood could have definitely taken it from DeWine, honestly, dude, for real. But yeah, needless to say, though, it'll be interesting to see what happens, though, when it comes to Mississippi and Kentucky, if they actually have anybody flip those seats or not. And for Louisiana, it'll be really interesting to see what happens there because, like I said, you got, 6, 7 people that are all like federal representation right now being like, maybe I should go back to my home state and become governor now, kind of thing. And it's like, yeah, that'll be interesting on that one, dude. That being said, are any of them actually pro 2A? And the question in a lot of those cases is no, they are not. No, they are not in most cases, dude, at all. And that's the sad part right now, right? And that's the problem with Louisiana right now, dude. They should be able to become a constitutional carry state by the end of this year, maybe the beginning of 2024 then. But the problem is they would have to get the right person in that governor's race right now to actually be the actual winner of the governorship then after the fact. And if they can't get that person, then they're fucked just like Pennsylvania is right now, dude. 2023 here should have been the year for Pennsylvania to become a constitutional carry state, and then that scumbag Josh Shapiro totally stole their fucking governorship from Doug Mastriano. Same way that sack of shit Fetterman stole the U.S. Senate seat from Dr. Oz, et cetera, et cetera. And if they actually, again, going back to what I've been saying this whole fucking time, if they actually audit these damn election cycles like we should be, which, by the way, how do you not audit every election now? Like, ever since 2020, dude. Every election should be audited no matter what, dude. At every single level. It should be like, no, we're going to do an independent vote count everywhere, dude. And if it takes 6 months from now to get it all done, so fucking what? Let it be done that way. For real. But anyway, so yeah, basically, they're fucked now because they let a bunch of scumbag Democrats steal their state, is what it is, dude. You have the Supreme Court there in Pennsylvania being all super Democrat majority. And that's what I fear for Ohio becoming right now, dude. Underneath this whole thing with the RINO ass piece of shit Jason Stevens and those scumbag fucking Democrats, dude. Like Weinstein and Russo, dude, who should all be in prison right now. I think they're going to pull a lot of shit, honestly. And what's interesting is Rob Kingsley, who works with Ohio governors and stuff like that, he is actually an ex-state rep's aide. I should say, how do I say that now? Yeah, it would be, so there was a state rep who worked in the Ohio State House like 4 or 5 General Assemblies ago is what it was. And at that point in time, Rob Kingsley was that person's aide. They become an aide. I think he became an aide for somebody else, and if I'm not mistaken, as well, after that guy was termed out or whatever. And then he ended up then going to work for Ohio governors in the past couple of years now. But basically, Kingsley said in his time there was a 4-year time span in the state of Ohio where 5 different Speaker of the Houses were all impeached for random bribery shit in the state, dude. And that's, by the way, where the whole thing with the FBI saying Ohio is one of the most corrupt states in the state in this country all comes from, dude. It's from that kind of shit. And by the way, that kind of shit is still going on right now because you cannot sit here and tell me honestly, truthfully, that fucking Jason Stevens didn't cut some kind of fucked up backdoor deal with Allison Russo, dude, and the rest of the Democrat Party for that matter, to secure that speakership. That there is no fucking way that you have anti-gun nut jobs like Weinstein and Golonsky, etc., voting for Jason Stevens unless he cut some kind of fucked up deal with them to be like, I'll totally advance your anti-gun shit that's unconstitutional as fuck this General Assembly. Like all these red flag laws and different background checks y'all wanted this whole time. And I'll tell you what, man, I will see that motherfucker in prison by the end of this year if that shit happens, by the way, dude. Because like I said in one of the last grandstands last night, actually, dude, or yesterday afternoon or whatever it was, and I said it then, dude. I said, give it 6 months to 18 months right now, and Jason Stevens is going to be in prison right now, dude. He's going to be arrested just like Larry Householder was for all kinds of bribery shit, for all kinds of other fucking scandals and stuff like that, dude. And I guarantee it's going to be the same way with Sarah Carruthers and Cindy Abrams, because they're both fucking paid to playing right now in the state of Ohio, dude. And that's the problem right now. It's people on all sides of the fucking aisle, dude. And this is what I've said before. Ohio is not a red state, dude. We are a bullshit fucking gerrymandered state where you have a 2-party primary that should be 20 parties. You know? I would love at some point in the future for my party, the Internet Libertarian Party, to actually be a legit contender in the state of Ohio in a primary decision, dude. And it's bullshit. I have to sit there and be like, Am I going to vote Democrat or am I going to vote Republican for this primary now because I don't have any other choice here? It's a fucking illusion of choice, dude. It's not even a fucking choice. It's like, okay, do I want to vote in a primary for a party that is so fucking psychotic they're willing to kill kids in the womb up to and beyond the moment of birth? Or do I want to vote for the other side that at this point in time in history has technically helped get my constitutional rights back to where they should have always been in this country? I don't know, man. I think maybe I'll go on this side for a little bit here is what it is. And that's what it really is at the end of the day, man. But yeah, if I was ever to become governor of the state, though, for real, I would be the first internet libertarian governor in this country, dude. And I'm saying that right now. If I was ever able to get into office, if we don't collapse as a country and I somehow am able to get into Ohio governor race and win in 2026 after DeWine's termed out and stuff like that, dude, I would legitimately I would go from being a Republican candidate to the first internet libertarian governor in the time span of about 6 minutes, which is as soon as I'm elected into office at that point, dude. I'm going to be like, all right, I'm not a Republican anymore. Fuck all y'all. I'm doing my thing now. I'm doing my party now. This is recognized now. Fuck you, I'm governor. Is what it would be. And then from there, you'd basically have a whole bunch of other, pro-Constitution candidates get into that state house as well that year. So, and that's what the plan would be to get a bunch of people like that, dude. But unfortunately, we don't have a chance to do that right now without a big ass war chest, is what it is. So, although, fingers crossed, because this Friday I have a potential chance to win $1 billion in the lottery. Not that's actually a viable solution or anything like that, but it'd be nice if it happened though. It's not quite $1 billion; it's like 900 and something million bucks or something like that. But even still, even after taxes, that's what, like $450-ish million or something like that, lump sum probably somewhere in there. So, that's a good chunk of change to live on, man. And I could basically do whatever the fuck I wanted at that point then, So, and by the way, at that point, you would actually see Ohio Patriot Education Network be funded like it needs to be. And you would see this entire state basically flip on its fucking ear, dude, because you would see a whole bunch of grassroots candidates then winning elections and stuff like that were all funded by me is what it would be, man. So, anywho. But yeah, like I said, going back to the redistricting maps and stuff like that from this past election cycle and how they're going to be changed again here in the coming months. I fear 100% the shit that we're seeing here with all these in the big major cities and stuff like that. They're all Democrat run, dude. I fear something like that happening in like a Hamilton County or even like a Stark County where they bring like 4 or 5 more fucking, seats in here. They'll flip them all blue and shit like that, dude. Because by the way, right now, 48, 49, and 50 are all Republican held right now in the state, in my county, Stark County here. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with that, man. As it is, though, I think it's 48 is Scott Olinger who voted for that son of a bitch, Jason Stevens, though, dude. And it also pisses me off that Mike Loychek voted for him. But then actually, Chris Dorr brought up a good point actually during his Facebook Live thing yesterday, which was it might be that Loychek was basically voting for Stevens as a way to be like, well, hey, buddy, I voted for you. Why don't you pass this two-way preservation act and bring it to the actual floor for a vote and stuff like that? So, it might be one of those kind of things, like a wink, wink, nod, nod kind of thing or whatever, but it's like, to have, again, going back to what I talked about before with my own state rep, Reggie Stolfus and stuff like that, it's like, to sit here and try to play the politics game, dude, just to get fucking shit advanced instead of actually just being like, no, you both work for the people of the state, dude. Do your fucking job and advance shit that they want to see advanced, which is 2A bills at this point, which is 1A bills at this point, which is actual fighting against tech monopoly and tech censorship and fighting for the Second Amendment and fighting against fucking federal gun control and shit like that, dude, is what it is. That, by the way, is all unconstitutional and really, honestly, should be looked at legitimately under Marbury versus Madison as it was never written to begin with, dude. Actually, that's one thing I was listening to Rakita Law last night. Not last night, but a couple days ago, whenever he did a stream there when he was talking about New York and stuff like that and their gun control crap there. And he actually said he doesn't like Marbury versus Madison because the way he was explaining it, I don't know about this part of it, but he was saying it was supposed to be like a judicial thing or something like that. And you shouldn't have the courts have that kind of power or whatever. And it's like, as far as I'm aware, and as far as Marbury versus Madison's always been explained to me, is it's basically just a decision that was made that specifically says, hey, if this any piece of legislation can be looked at as unconstitutional, it's basically a blank slate after that, dude, because it's never written. It should be looked at as never written to begin with at all, dude. And that's how it should be anyway, dude. It's like, if you were pushing something forward that is so against the Constitution of the United States and the Second Amendment and everything else like that, dude, not only should it be completely null and voided, that person who's pushing that kind of thing, whether it be a state rep or whether it be a federal rep, whatever the case be, should be in prison forever after that, dude. They should be in prison for the rest of their damn lives after that and shit. And it's really as simple as that, honestly. So, anyway, that's pretty much it for the day, though. We've been here almost an hour now. I'm going to finish up because I'm kind of getting tired and I kind of want to go to sleep for a while. It is like 1 a.m. my time, so, pretty tired. I've been sleeping oddly in the last few days and stuff like that, and yeah, it's not good, and I've been having like a lot of issues when it comes to things, and I need to get another chiropractic adjustment pretty soon because my back is all fucked up right now, and hopefully that'll be sometime the end of the week here, maybe early next week. I'm not sure which right now, but anyway, yeah, it's basically my neck and then all the way down my spinal cord needs adjusted is what it is, because when I was living in Columbus in 2010, I actually had a massive fall on some black ice, and I was living down there in that, actually, I think it was the December 2009 into January 2010 is when that happened. But yeah, I was basically, I'd missed a bus. I was trying to walk to my school that was a few blocks down and ended up walking over this big old snow patch that I didn't realize was full of black ice, and then whoosh, boom, right down on my tailbone. And yeah, back's been all fucked up since then. And that's about the only thing that's ever happened to me that was not related to big pharma drugs. Everything else that I have health issue wise is all big pharma drug stuff. But yeah, that was the only one personally that actually fucked me up. That it was actually technically that was one of two, because I had a second fall down there in Columbus as well, about 4 to 6 months later, where I fucked up my right knee, and pretty sure I shattered my kneecap back then. Didn't realize it, was actually walking on that for about 8 months until it healed. And yeah, ever since that to this day, whenever you have weather changes, like real bad shifts and shit, my kneecap is just totally fucked anymore. So, but yeah, other than that, probably gonna need to get a knee replacement at some point here, which is gonna suck because I guarantee they ain't gonna do it to nobody under the age of 40 right now, dude. And even if I have it done after the age of 40, it's gonna be like one of those things where I'm like, do I really want to get this done or not, kind of thing. And yeah, it's just not good. But so far the chiropractic seems to be working, especially on my back and stuff. So it's just getting to the actual office and getting it done. If I had an activator at the house right now, I'd just do it myself. Honestly, well, not do it myself. I'd have somebody come to the house and do it for me. But yeah, other than that, it would basically be, just like call up somebody and be like, "Hey, can you come over here for like 10 minutes or whatever?" Family or friend or something like that, or even just go to anybody's place or whatever the case be, and be like, "I just need you to knock me out in like this section, and this section, like ding, 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 all the way down," kind of thing is what it would be. Because the problem with my current chiropractor is she was doing her job quite a bit. And now she's just kind of half-assing it, is what it seems like, to where she's doing just enough to basically get me back to square one. But then I'll like leave her office, and like 10 minutes later, I just feel like shit again. So I think she just needs to hit me a bunch more times, is what it is. And she's had discussions with me about like, well, if I overdo it, it's not going to do anything. And I'm just like, well, you're not doing enough, is what it is. And that's the problem right now. It's like, I'm still going to come see you, throughout the year here. I'm just not going to see you in like 3 days from now, is what it is. I'll see you in like 3 weeks, is what it'd be instead. So, but yeah, like that's pretty much where we're at right now, is what it is. So anyway. But yeah, like I said, it's a bunch of bullshit when it comes to the way that the Democrats, pulled a fucking householder 2.0 here in this state right now. And I am side-eyeing everybody at this point, dude. I am side-eyeing every Republican that voted for Stevens, and I'm side-eyeing every single Democrat entirely right now, dude. As you people probably shouldn't be in our state house anymore is what it is. And it's as simple as that, honestly. So, anyway. Hopefully you guys all enjoy this episode today. I'll be back for another one. Today's Thursday right now, technically. So maybe I might do a 2A cast on Friday, sort of reiterating what we're talking about right now and stuff. If anything changes, if they introduce some anti-gun crap, whatever the case be. Then again, I might be back tomorrow afternoon too, just to see if they do a speaker vote again federally, and if they actually vote in McCarthy's dumbass or not, or if they vote somebody else in for the 7th vote. Then, honestly, I think it'd be funny if somebody actually there was a dude who I guess was outside Congress today that Lauren Boebert found, and the guy legitimately had like a handmade sign that said his like name on it or whatever, and it's like vote for like whatever the guy's name was for Speaker of the House or something. Honestly, that would be hilarious if that happened at this point, dude. Just bring in some like random dude off the street and be like, this guy is Robert Zinger or whatever. Let's all vote for him now. And it's like some random everyday American that becomes Speaker of the House just randomly out of nowhere. That's how it needs to be, honestly, dude. It needs to be the people's house again, for real. But yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'm pretty excited to see what happens here, dude, because I want them to continue this shit as long as possible right now, dude. As long as the federal government's not doing anything right now, I am happy as a pig in shit currently, dude, because it means that we are actually finally seeing a constitutional republic the way it's always meant to be in this country. It's not a bunch of backdoor shady ass deals and all kinds of fuckery to go along and get along crap. It's people actually listening to the American people for once, saying, no, fuck you, RINO sack of shit establishment assholes. We ain't putting up with their crap anymore, dude. And that's how it should have been decades ago, honestly, dude. It's how it should have been during Pelosi's tenure in the 90s. It's how it should have been during fucking everybody else's tenure in the 2000s, etc., dude. It's a bunch of shit entirely, dude. It's time to get back to where this country needs to be and get back to being a true constitutional republic, not some fucking oligarchy full of a bunch of assholes is what it is, dude. So, anyway. Like I said, though, hopefully y'all enjoy this episode, and I will see everybody in the next one.